Developmental competence is about engaging a candidate and putting them first and foremost at the front of their learning, which means giving them access to their own learning materials. Now let's talk about where we are at the moment. A lot of companies do compliance-based assessments. They do assessments because they have to. You'll often find that the candidates aren't really engaged in the assessment process. They fear the assessment process. They don't like to be assessed. It's something that's done to them. Now, here's a good test. Go up to an assessed candidate, anyone in the safety critical workforce, and say, who's responsible for your competence? The majority will answer, my manager. And at that point, we've got to realise that person is not engaged in the assessment process, which is essentially all the tools they need to do an amazing job. So another way of looking at a compliance-based assessment system is that a candidate's not allowed to look at the performance criteria. The assessor keeps it up here. We can't show them it because that would be showing them the answers and then they'd know what to do. They know what to do. But that's what we want them. We want them to know what they want to do. Now, the assessment process, competence management, is a real overlooked resource. It is the tool that's going to reduce your incidents, that's going to improve your performance by an engaged workforce. Now, at the very heart of the developmental competence management system is a grading system. Simple one we have at AssessTech is red, amber, green, double green. Red, you didn't know it, didn't do it. It's very easy. Amber, you were unsure, uncertain, needed prompting. Green, you did it, you know it. Double green, you did it, you know it, but you added you added a bit of an extra mile, and you added some knowledge of risk and of non-technical skills on top of what you should know, so that you are showing an assessor and they go, oh, that was really good. And when you go, oh, that was really good, you can give that double green. But green is where you want people to be. Now, what we can now do is now the grading isn't linked directly to competence, because you can have a number of reds and still do your job properly. You can have a whole raft of ambers and still do your job properly. But what it's doing is it's focusing your candidate or your learner on what they need to learn. They've got a focus of reading or of online learning that they can go and take hold of and feel comfortable. And once we've got a developmental system in place, that's when we can start really mining that data. That's when you can start looking at where your reds and ambers are. You could have a whole new fresh batch of recruits finished in training, assess them with a grading system, give them all individual learning plans, but then bring that data back in and then see what are the common things they got wrong. What are the common things they didn't really understand? You can look back at the learning materials and you can then adjust it to make it more accessible and better for the next batch. So how do you implement a developmental competence management system? How do you engage the workforce? Well, what you need to do is make learning and development accessible. Make it so that the candidates and the assessors can easily access the materials. Add a grading system. And then add a robust verification system on top of that.